Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Hello and welcome to Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm Becky Parker Geist and I'm your host. Audiobook Connection is your place to learn about the audiobook creative process in discussions between the authors, narrators, producers, and post-production teams that bring them all together, as well as guests who have listened to the audiobooks and have questions for the creative teams. This podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Hi, I'm Becky Parker Geist. I'm the host of the Audiobook Connection podcast, Behind the Scenes with the Creative Teams. I'm also president of Bay Area Independent Publishers Association and the CEO of Pro Audio Voices, providing audiobook production, distribution, marketing, and podcasting services. And I am so happy to have with me today Charles Breakfield and Rox Burkey, authors of the awesome thrillers in the Enigma Series. And we're going to hear a lot more about Rox and Charles and their books as we dive in, but I want to welcome you, Rox and Charles.
Oh, Becky, thank you so much. We're honored to be here.
Yeah.
You are just a kind of a guiding light for us. Thank you.
I didn't realize how important you were until I heard all your accolades. I mean, good grief. I'm like, I need to go to a happy place now because now I'm intimidated. Okay. So,
Oh, no, don't be intimidated because I'm about to ask you about what you guys do, which is mind-blowing. I've read your bios, and of course, we've known each other for some time now, but I know you both work in technology. Could you share a little bit more about what that is that you do day to day in your day jobs? And then just to give you a heads up, then I'm going to hear about how that plays into your writing. So, Charles, why don't you get us started in terms of what you do?
what I heard you say, you wanted me to do that voodoo that I do so well.
Yeah.
All right. I'm 25 years worth of technology. They usually throw me at the stuff that everybody goes, looks too hard. Send Charles in. So I get to play on all the stuff that's broken. I get to look at all the stuff that's like, it should have worked. What's wrong with this picture? That's who I am. I solve puzzles in the technology world. And it usually entails voice and data, infrastructure. And one of the people I was working with sent me a note. He said, geez, we miss you. Is there any way we can get you back? I said, I'm not cheap, but I can be had. Okay. Well, that way.
Well, I love puzzles, jigsaw puzzles and other kinds of puzzles, but I suspect, actually, I know for sure, the kinds of puzzles that you're solving are way beyond my understanding. But let's hear from you, Rox. What are you up to during your day job?
And thank you, Becky. I appreciate that. So I actually focus specifically on customer experience. So technology is so big in our lives. It's big in personal, it's big in business, it's big in everywhere we go. So I help businesses primarily focus those technology experiences to drive positive outcomes with people. So when people go to shop, they actually get a positive experience. It's frictionless. That's a very important aspect for people, whether they're a small store or they're a gargantuan brand. It doesn't matter. People want an experience that's memorable and positive. And if it's negative, they'll never come back.
Yeah. Beautiful. So now your thrillers, and I've only gotten started in the series, so I can't, I have to be honest up front. I haven't gotten through the whole series yet, but I'm getting there. And I would love to hear from your perspective, like, how does your work play into your writing? Tell us about that relationship.
So that's a good point. A nice structured question to be able to say, well, where are you getting these ideas? Okay. And it's a conveyor belt. It shows up unannounced. I get it, day in, day out. We see technical threats. We see, here's the newest, greatest thing. And we start analyzing it and we say, did you think about this? Did you, here's the target attack vector that you didn't spot. We've seen some technology that we've actually say, well, what if you did this? And we take it to the next level. And the spooky part is seeing some of the stuff that we speculate on.
Yeah.
Come true. That's one part.
So, we have a tagline, Becky, that we set years ago, and it's still very true. Technology is today's weapon of choice. And so people get hacked, they get compromised, they invest too much personally without checking for guardrails. And when you do that, things go so fast in our digital world today. So you make mistakes that can't be recovered from. You have no choice. So you have to be very mindful when you have no guardrails. Are you taking the right path?
I have an example actually aimed at me. I got this is a true story. I got a text message, most unusual, from the CEO of my company. He's like, quick, Charles, what? How's he know my name? I mean, I don't hang out with the CEO of this $25 billion company. And it said, I'm entertaining some people. I need you to go downstairs or go by and pick up a whole flock of like 30 or 40 $100 gift cards for Apple gift cards, so I can hand them out to the people that are here at the show. And he signed his name. I won't put his name in there because OMG. I'm looking at this like, what a great con. This is exactly the kind of thing that people will go, well, how did you get my name? So they got into the system. They got the information. They got my phone number, which was private, not the corporate one. And so it was a con. And so I had so much fun, fencing with the people. They probably got mad. I'm not talking to this character again, because I said, "Hey, look, I love to, but what's an Apple card?" And then he went, "Well, just go to the station and buy some." I said, "Well, I can't because they got me under house arrest, and the police will like. So if you can call and let me out." And I'm like, that was the last I heard from him. So part of it is the expediency. I got to have it right now, and I get some plausible information that you might swallow. You do this enough times, and you get positive results. There's actually somebody that in the UK, it was the finance officer. He was duped into believing the CEO had said, "I'm trying to cut a deal. I need a check for £25,000. Count down." And the guy goes, "This looks legit," and he did it. They were fleeced for the £25,000. Well, wow. I'm not sure what his job status is now.
Yeah,
I'm totally understanding what the status is now. But the thing is, now, when you see something that has a sense of urgency, must do now, they have a fragment of something that is believable. If you hover over like an email address or anything like that, and it doesn't track well, then the odds are you're being duped.
Yeah.
And so, but we're so trusting. We're raised as a bunch of really trusting kind of people. Everybody has good in them, except the hackers. They got no good. No good.
So these real stories show up, they percolate in our minds, and we use them liberally, conservatively, take your pick, into the story generations. And that's where we get the story content. And that leads us to the audibles, where it's like, we got somebody that, or Derek Shoales, voice actor, he loves some of the characters. And there's one character, he said, "Okay, all right, guys, promise me, if this goes to film, the silver screen, let me have the Ichabod character. I'll do anything." Okay.
Yes, I could understand that argument. And so, just to kind of also get a clear idea, I get where your content is coming from. Now, how did this all begin? This partnership of writing fiction based on these technology, the technology food that's coming your way. How did it get started?
It's a great question, Becky. So originally when we got started, we actually co-authored several different nonfiction books, technology books on what could happen. Well, technology is old 10 minutes after it's published. And,
Right.
the how-to book is done. You got to go have 25 updates to do it. And so part of the fun is that we have all of these different capabilities of technology. But someone who is being unethical or evil or whatever label you want to put on it, they'll make it stand on its head. So ransomware, I'm sure you've never heard of that. Cryptocurrency, not a buzzword today. Artificial intelligence. So, when things are focused that way, so we take one threat and we say, okay, here's our threat. What could someone have happen to them that they'd have to deal with this threat, and how capable are they of dealing with it? And that's where the good guys in our series come to.
Yeah. And the big thing is, and this is everybody who's in the technology world for security, they always know that the bad guys are ahead of the game all the time. They got nothing else to do. They want to be able to get the network, and they'll run routines for hours, days, weeks, looking for that one vulnerability, and one mistake is all they need to capitalize and penetration into your network, and then hibernate there, collecting information, shipping it back to the mothership. It's a cat and mouse game, and the bad guys are always ahead. So the good guys are always playing catch up. It's not something we've invented. It's just something we've seen real time in the technology world.
But it's funny what we're seeing now, and it's kind of a generational thing. So you have the original hackers that made all of their money, all of their credibility by hacking in different things. Well, they want to retire. They've had enough fun. They're done playing with stuff. So now they're selling what they have learned for pennies on the dollar to the next generation of hackers. Now you have hackers that don't have to create this foundation activity. They can go ahead and leapfrog and go right to the next thing. So, your driver's license, your social security card, what you did on your family vacation, what pictures you have in the data lakes are all subject to identifying who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so you are in your novels, obviously, I think it's obvious at this point, it should be obvious to our listeners that you're calling out real dangers in a fictional world.
Yeah.
Right. So when you got started, was the idea, this could be fun, let's write some fiction? Or was there any thinking around a really great way to inform the world about things to watch out for is putting it in a fictional context? What went into that formula?
Well, a lot of the technology, as we indicated, is accurate. I mean, it's not science fiction, it's science fact. This is how it works. And then how does somebody distort it to their benefit? That's what the bad guys do all the time. And so if you're a good guy, good gal, trying to be able to protect your company, and here's the threat vector that somebody says, hey, if you do it this way, I can get in. I can harvest information. I can export it. I can blackmail you. And then you set up this chain of opportunity to be able to sell to other people. And they've actually got a black market business set up. There are the people who do the reconnaissance, and they sell that to people who say, okay, I want to be able to exploit this. Then they get as far as, here's the numbers that I'm harvesting. They sell that. It's like this MBA program that's for the dark net. And it's unimaginable that the business model looks exactly like you would get if you went to Harvard or some of the other Ivy League places that says, here's how to be able to do a business. Only this is the dark net.
Yeah, and you're right. Wow. It was a lessons focus. We learned a long time ago, adults don't like to be lectured. Heck, it's hard enough to lecture children and teenagers. They just don't care for it. But adults especially don't like it. So, things like having a cell phone an iPhone that costs $1,100 a copy and not setting a password on it, that's right up there with DUMBE. So, yeah, it is lessons, but they're lessons that are given out. If you don't do stuff, you have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Your books cover a wide range of, what shall we call them?
Threats.
Issues, hacks, what?
Threats.
Threats, yeah.
Threats.
Because what they generate is here's an opportunity. If this is the scenario that you're in, there's somebody watching, looking for an opening to be able to camp in your network, harvest all your passwords, drain your bank account, two-factor authentication. Oh, you can't beat that, want to bet? Well, we've actually got some things to be able to on our website that says, here's some free tips, guys, gals, that will help you to stall bad guys. You can't completely beat them, but you can make it so hard that they'll go to somebody else. And there's something else that it doesn't put a password on. They think, everything is wonderful. Those are people that they didn't get the instruction. They didn't get the memo. Okay.
Or they ignored it.
Right.
So say they want the easy card. So it's like, you get something, any kind of software, and you have password. The original passwords for software is comical now when you look back on it. The original password for most software applications for a long time was password.
Right.
And if you chose not to change it, it was password. And that's the biggest thing is change password. So I got to ask you an honest question, Becky.
Yeah.
How many of your passwords match across your applications?
At this point, very few, because I have now a password program where I use the suggested strong passwords. It's possible that there are some that are still lingering from back before those days.
So, and those passwords that they're auditioning for you and saying, hey, use this. Where are you storing them?
In the password program.
And where's that program?
On your PC?
Or in the cloud?
Yeah.
If it's in the cloud.
Yeah. It's on my PC.
If it's on the cloud, somebody's harvesting it, guaranteed.
So where can you put it? Or not?
Writing it down and putting it underneath the keyboard.
You can store it locally and not store things on the cloud because the cloud is harvested by a boatload of people and programs.
Okay. All right.
So you can store it locally. You can't. You can write them down, but some of them are so complex now. I mean, we recommend passphrases. His favorite one is, I hate my neighbor and I want to kill his dog, but we don't let anybody else use that particular one.
I kill his dog. I just want to buy rat poison to kill the neighbor because he parked his car on my lawn again. Okay.
But complex passwords are much harder for hackers to go through and change. Don't choose things like your anniversary date, your husband's birthday, your children's birthdays. The whatever events that are on social media, don't choose that as your password.
Well, what happens is that a lot of times that it's called reconnaissance, Becky. In all attack vectors in the business world, you scan the ports, you scan the perimeter of the organization, not against the law to do that. What ports are open? I know that there are known ports that are available for certain kinds of activities and stuff. And so you take that same concept and I start scanning your perimeter, your social media, your email accounts, all the people that you say, isn't this the fun recipe? Let me copy everybody and their emails out there on your email list for somebody else to harvest. Oh, and then they start getting comments or emails from me, from what should be, they think you, that says, oh gosh, I'm being out of town. I got this problem. Would you send me, a couple of dollars? And they start harvesting. This is the way that reconnaissance works, is to find out enough about you to be able to find the vulnerabilities. And these are the types of story threads that we build into the Techno Thriller series.
Ah, yes. So I want to call out now, because you're giving such great examples of how you as authors are providing this incredible value, not only in the books that you've written, but also on your website, because I know that you've got those tips that are regular posts. And I think I want to call it out because, we have many authors who are listeners, and you are using your website in a way that is creating this double benefit. And so I know that there are other authors out there who might then get inspired to do something in their own realm, to provide some additional facts that might be helpful to their audiences, even if you're writing fiction.
Give back to the community. That's the way we look.
Right.
That's the
right
marching orders.
Even like Facebook, I'm sure that there are many listeners out there that are fans of Facebook. One of the best parts of Facebook is to share vacation photos. Hey, I'm on a boat. Hey, I'm in Bali. Hey, I'm in France. And they're sharing all these photos 90 ways from Sunday because they're on vacation. When they get home, their home's been broken into. So even if you delay that a week and show them a week later, you're going to reduce the risk of having someone break into your home. I mean, it seems silly. Why would anyone break into my home? Because you're not there.
Right. And they know it because you've told them. Yeah.
It's like
fascinating.
A new problem that we've seen people actually start to turn around on, which is putting their kid's name on a T-shirt and then a name outside, and then somebody realizing that, if I call their name, bring them over, child abduction. That's child identity theft. Do you understand that there's a whole industry on the dark net, of course, that's based on harvesting children identities for sale to other people that need bogus identities to be able to do criminal activities. It's horrific. If you get too deep into it, it's
horrifying.
It's horrifying. So,
it's like if these days we have to give social security numbers to children shortly after they're born. Hadn't always been that way, but now that's the way it is. You got to do that so you can list them on your tax return.
Yeah.
All right. So they've never applied for credit. They've never gone in for any of that kind of thing. And if somebody gets a hold of their social security card, they can ruin that child's credit before they ever have to buy anything.
Wow.
Yeah. So the identity theft, and there's several different flavors of it. These are the kind of things that we highlight because once it's gone, we've talked to people that the shows, she broke down in tears. She goes, I know exactly what that's like. I'm still digging out after years of fighting for my identity back.
Wow.
And that sounds silly. It's like, who would steal that? It's worth money. And that's the whole thing. It's funny.
Yeah.
And back in the 00 series, 00 years, when it's like the big joke was you can get anything you want on the internet except money. And now there's nothing but money all over you, just dripping with it, depending upon how you want to be able to exploit it. And that's what the bad guys are all about. And that's what we write about.
Yeah. Well, so to sort of, how would you summarize the impact that you as authors with your Enigma series and any other works that you're doing, how would you state what impact you would like to have out there in the world with your audiences?
Wow, what a great question, Becky. I think what we would like to have is for people to increase their awareness. I love the idea and always have that people want to trust their neighbor, that they want to trust their friends. And I value that. I have for decades. But I think that you can't always do that and stay safe. And so that's kind of what we want to convey. Ask a question. It's okay. Ask twice. We have a lot of people that want help and support because they're facing tough times. Work with the groups in the community that do that, whether it's the churches or the schools or the Girl Scouts or whatever it is that you're comfortable with, rather than necessarily handing someone money. And, years and years and years ago, we were taught that you teach somebody a skill so that they can do better. You don't give somebody a handout so they can ask for some more.
Yeah.
So we're all about trying to teach them to fish. Okay, to use the old tried phrase. Okay, I admit it. It's a bit dated, but it's still true. If I teach you how to fish, you'll always be able to eat. Or if I teach you how to be able to be secure, you'll be able to question things that you think, I would have taken that at face value, and I'd be really sorry having done that. So we're hoping to be able to give that back to the people.
That's beautiful.
That need it, that maybe don't even understand they need it. That's the really kind of unnerving piece. It's like, you don't know that this is a con? Wow.
Yeah.
I've been conned by great, really good people and money that I'll never see again. So I just soon, not let anybody else get whacked.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's do a couple things. If you would tell our listeners your website address, and then we're going to take a short break and come back and talk more about the audiobooks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
our website is www.enigmabookseries.com, all one word. And it'll get you to the website, all the free stuff. It also has our monthly raffle copter for them to be able to sign up for a monthly drawing if they put in a review. $25 card for reviews. They will draw, and we do that every month. So a lot of good stuff.
Great. All right. So enigmabookseries.com. All right. We're going to take a short pause and we'll come right back. October 2023 is Thriller Month on Amplify Audiobooks. Don't you dare miss it. AmplifyAudiobooks.com. Join me as we enter the dark and complex arena that lurks in the fascinating world of international danger and intrigue. The Enigma Series. Technology is today's weapon of choice. 3 Polish patriots fled the country in 1939 with a copy of the Germans' Enigma machine. They formed their powerful information brokerage organization, R Group, to fight tyranny. Today, R Group are cyber champions battling darknet terrorists. Their mantra is to stop the masters of digital disinformation from driving chaos into the world. Ichabod, an AI-enabled supercomputer, supports the R Group. Each book pits the R Group against technology threats, including data harvesting to predict the future, ransomware, disruption of commodity markets, and charlatans peddling cryptocurrency. Derek Shoales is the voice of Enigma Series. Get started today on the powerful techno-thriller Enigma Series at theenigmaseries.com. And now we're back. So let's talk about the audiobook, the series. You have how many of your series in audio right now?
Technically, right now we have 13 books that are in audio. 14 books in audio.
Great.
But we also now have some on our website for sale, which is very exciting to us because we can make them more affordable for people.
That's awesome. I love that. And so Derek Shoales is your narrator. Has he done all of your books?
All except book 1.
All right.
Yeah, different financial model from that one. So, but Derek is he's family. He's got that. He knows exactly the intonations, the characters. We spend a lot of time with him on stuff, and we don't call him a narrator. We call him a voice actor because here's somebody that knows how to be able to do male voices, female voices, young, old, different accents. He never stumbles on some of the technical stuff because he's actually in a technology field. He does get stumped a little bit on some of the Russian and the Chinese things we you throw at it, and I do that just to be mean. So, but he's a good sport about it. And he is the voice of the Enigma.
Yeah. That's great. And tell us a little bit about how you got started with the audiobook production. What was that path for you?
So when we got started with audiobook production, it was because there are people that we cater to, which is like the, 30 to 40-year-olds that really were making new inroads into audiobook. They had time to listen. They didn't have time to read.
Right.
Driving in a car, being at that point in time, being in a commuter role, they could listen much easier than they could read books. Plus, it's very lightweight, right? You can take it anywhere with you, just like you can an ebook. But the
Right.
audiobook, if it's done well, like with our voice actor, then you get a feeling that you're being immersed into a story even better than what the writing is. So that's how we got started in it. And we did start with one narrator, and it didn't want to be the voice of our series. So we put out another audition for book number 2, and Derek fell our way. We were so delighted to have him part of the book.
Yeah, what's
That's so great.
what's funny about it is that whenever we do a new book, and we almost every one of them has been the same way. It's a media that we didn't expect would have the impact on us that it did. I mean, you sit down with your munchies and your favorite adult beverage. It's like, okay, we got another 5 chapters to listen to, and they're exciting. And we read them. I was like, OMG.
Yeah.
It caught me off guard. I was like, I understand now the appetite for an audiobook, because it, and if it's done well, it's exciting, and it really was engaging. So it was disappointing. Of like, we don't want any more chapters. Dang, we'll have to wait a couple of days.
Yeah. That's great. That is exactly the way it should be. And I just also want to highlight for our listeners the fact that, like, you described your target audience so well. And I have, in other episodes, I've talked about how important it is to understand who your audience is. And so I just wanted to call that out for our listeners.
So Becky, I have to point something out. The other thing we're finding now is the older generation, which loved reading our books, 60 and above, okay, they loved reading them.
Yeah.
Their eyes are giving them trouble. So they're now flipping to audio as well.
Yeah. And discovering what they've been missing all this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Is there anything about the process of the audiobooks? Now, you mentioned about the review process and how exciting and fun that is. Anything else about the process of producing the audiobooks that stands out to you? And maybe in ways that, especially if you think back to when you were newer in that process, maybe things that you didn't expect or surprised you in some way that other authors might also benefit from hearing you talk about?
I'll give you the big one. We actually there's 2 different issues. One, a lot of times when you're writing something and you go through the storyline and you don't get the voice intonations or the accents or the characters, particularly if you're writing a thriller and you don't want to give away the story, we actually had the narrator say, hey, dude, if I use this voice for this character, it'll give away some of the storyline, and you'll lose some of the impact when you get to chapter 15 or 25. So what do you want me to do? Well, that's a good, I hadn't thought of that, because the voice would have given that character away, and we didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
The other one was the pronunciations. If you got any foreign words, if you got any, things that like somebody might go, well, how do you pronounce this word? And they just stumble through it. It will reflect on the book, the storyline itself. And so we spend a lot of time just saying, okay, here are the pronunciations. And then we got in the habit of like, well, wait a minute, give some character analysis. Here's why we're writing it this way for this character, because they're going to have this aha moment down the line. So this is the kind of seasoning that you need to have in the voice projection that you use. And so contextual clues, thought processes, things that are not yet available to the reader, that you want to have masked until they're actually exposed towards the end of the book. Those are all important contextual clues for the narrator to be able to take the book so that it's, oh, wow, I'm surprised now when I get to book chapter 25, and it wasn't killed for me when we first introduced that character. So those, we spent a lot of time getting that information to Derek to make sure that he's not surprised, and he's pacing himself and designing voice characterizations that don't give away the story, but are and sometimes it's like, okay, they need to have this kind of accent. This is the nationality they've got. This is maybe they need a bit of a Texas twang to them when they talk, that kind of stuff. And so those are the things that we like to alert him to so that he knows how to be able to digest it.
And I think speed and tempo has a factor in there as well, Becky.
Yeah.
I think this is really great for our listeners to understand that you're really expressing and demonstrating how the audiobook production process can be very collaborative and works best when it is, and that there's the tremendous amount of benefit from authors being able to collaborate in that way, being clear about the characters, the voices, the scenes that may be helpful to the narrator. We'll sometimes have, scenarios where on occasion there is some surprise that the narrator in preparing didn't pick up on early enough. And then, whereas if the author had clued the narrator in, then it could have been crafted even more with more polish. So wonderful.
We've turned it over for recording. We may have read it, reread it, edited it, reread it 15 times before. Yeah. And it's like it's like one of my kids or my favorite hound dog. I know it so well, and they're not going to know it that well. And so it's not fair to throw it over the fence. Like, here, record this. Okay, how about some clues here, guys, about what you have in mind. So if you don't spend the time up front, you won't get the best product possible on the outside.
Right. So I would like our listeners to know where they can find your books on Amplify Audiobooks. We're going to put the link in the description, so that'll make it a little easier. But you can find the Enigma series, all of the ones that are in audio there, at proaudiovoices.com/vendor/Enigma-series. Sorry that's so long and complicated, but it will be in the description and show notes so that you'll be able to access that easily.
And they can also link to it from our website. So you go to the website, you can do a click and get there.
Right to your website.
Beautiful.
Put you right to it. And we practiced with my beta tester on the software. So and it works great on PCs and your cell phone, which is exactly where it needed to reside.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
Yeah. So that the easier website. So I want to call that out again: www.enigmabookseries.com. Charles Breakfield, Rox Burkey of Breakfield and Burkey, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having us. It's been an honor, as always.
Thank you, Becky. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us for Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. Please take a moment to subscribe at audiobookconnection.com. The podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Learn more at proaudiovoices.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and please join us next week.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.